Happy Monday everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of Beyond Meat Mondays, a brand new series that I'm starting here on this channel because, as you might know, I started to invest into the revolutionizing plant-based meat company Beyond Meat, and every Monday we will summarize what's going on with the company, what is important to know, so investors as well as maybe become to investors can be informed. And therefore, without further ado, let's dive and get directly into the meat. Was the entry too cheesy? I don't think so, because we are here on Beyond Meat Mondays and every single good burger needs to have nice cheese, and therefore let's have a look what is the cheese content today having for us. So we will talk about definitely about the Beyond Meat stock, because it's like a roller coaster since they went to the IPO. Therefore we will talk about nicely also about the Q4 earnings that was just released last week. Moreover, we will talk about the Game Changers, one of the very most important documentaries on Netflix that you should watch. Moreover, we will talk about the Starbucks partnership that Beyond Meat just announced in the last couple of days. Moreover, we will have a product review intro, I would say, so very important. And last but not least, we will talk about the competition upcoming from Cargill in the US, and therefore let's roll. Now, when Beyond Meat came to the stock market and did their IPO, it was one of news, because they went so much up in value that it was also, for me by that time, it was way overvalued. They just entered the stock market, they had to release a couple of quarters of financial data that I'm looking into. I believe that data is one of the most important things that you should look into when going into the stock, and therefore let's have a look what happened since the IPO in May last year. So the IPO was somewhere around the 1st May of 2019, and then the stock went up to $234, which was an increase since the first day on the stock market, $65.75 to $234.9, and this was a total of 257% increase. And then something happened, everything cooled down, everybody was watching, and then the stock went from $235 per share to up to $77 in December and beginning of January, and then the stock started to picking up again over the 120 levels, which it is lower today. We are currently balancing somewhere between $80 and $90 and a market cap of $5.5 billion. And no PE ratio officially yet, because they are not making profit. They are just, an on-off company that making profit per quarter, which I believe for such a growth stock should not have the very first priority, especially in the market where we're having cheap money and low corporate tax. I believe, especially this growth companies is something that, is acceptable, because at the end you have to see what's currently happening on the market. Big companies like blue chip companies are growing because they have access to cheap money to refinance debt, to using this cheap money to buy back stocks, which pushing the stocks up. But real growth, real organic growth, and literally organic, because this company is a green finance company, same like the CEO of BlackRock said, this will be super important for the future of us all, because the environment impact will be huge, and therefore also BlackRock, the biggest fund in the world, is concentrating on green investments. And I believe that in some years maybe BlackRock will invest, like they also, for example, invest in Tesla. So therefore I believe it stays very, very interesting for the Beyond Meat stock. And let's dive into the Q4 earnings. Now, the Q4 earnings were actually coming in the last couple of days, and it was quite reddish. Now, same red like you have like a medium fried patty of a burger, because the overall pressure on the stock market also took advantage of, you know, some small things that they found here and there in the earnings of Beyond Meat. Generally, this was one of the reasons that I said, hey, I will start to invest in this company, because those numbers are really interesting. So I'm just giving you a couple of highlights. So the net sales for the quarter Q4 was 212% more than the quarter last year before. That's triple the revenue in per quarter to $98.5 million in just 3 months, which compared to the expectations, which were $79.5 million, so way better than the expectations. Moreover, they didn't make a profit, which is one of the reasons that, you know, some of the investors, some of the analysts said, hey, what's going on there? It's, you know, you make some couple of profit quarters. This was not the case. They actually didn't make profit because they invested into scalability. And this is very important for such a growth company like Beyond Meat, because lots of the times you can see also, if you read the details of the competition as well for Beyond Meat, the problem in this business currently is that they cannot produce enough product. So actually the problem is that they cannot cater enough product to potential customers to serve them. This is a very good problem to have, in my opinion, and therefore, you know, this small loss on the overall year of just less than $500,000, so less than $500,000, is very acceptable. Moreover, you know, they said that the sales to restaurants and food services is approximately 60% of the business, while the other retail is 40% of the business. You know, they are really interesting clients up there, and even the guidance is quite impressive. They want to almost double the revenue in this year, and this even not consider big partners that maybe become one of the biggest potential clients for Beyond Meat, like McDonald's, KFC, Starbucks, and so on and so forth. So, you know, overall the story is quite intact. The growth is there, the numbers are ridiculous, and the PEG ratio is below 1. So that's why, you know, I barely see this kind of companies that becoming a trend. You know, you see this things like Uber or Airbnb, things that getting trendy to use to be healthier. And I think, you know, this has a huge opportunity, challenging a $1.4 trillion market, which is the meat industry, the natural meat industry, which is, you know, affected by scandals, by, you know, facts, medical facts also, that, you know, meat, natural meat is not so good for you. So if this will be a good portion of the meat sales worldwide in a couple of years, then this is a multi-billion-dollar companies, and we will be on board. So in terms of my research for this company, it doesn't stop and starts only at the earnings report and all the interviews that I can find by the CEO and founder Ethan Brown, but also all the content that is out there. And one of the very interesting one is The Game Changer. This is a series on Netflix that I can just recommend to you to get a little bit interested into the vegan topic, because in the end this is something that Beyond Meat attached to the vegan lifestyle, and they showed in this documentary that, you know, vegan athletics are perform much better than people that are eating real meat, and the proteins in the end of the day are created by plants and just digest in the the, let's say, middleman, the chicken or the cow, and then deliver to the person, and the chicken and the cow are getting influenced by the human, by profit and capitalism, and therefore, why not cut them and produce the meat artificially? And this obviously is a process over the next couple of years, and Beyond Meat is, from the quality as well as from the branding and distribution, one of the market or the market leader, and therefore it's always interesting to invest into such a company. So definitely worth 1 or 1.5 hours to watch for you if you want to tap into this industry. So beside big players like McDonald's or KFC, Beyond Meat just announced a new partnership in Canada with Starbucks. Starbucks, and this is, I think, the beauty about Beyond Meat, they're getting together with their clients and develop a special product for the menu of Starbucks. This, for once, gives Starbucks a great, unique selling point, and secondly, it creates a good partnership. And Ethan Brown, the CEO, said that no partnership that they did for testing purposes in the history of the company never went into nothing. Like, there was always some new revenue stream that went out of this partnership. We know that Dunkin' Donuts is having a breakfast sausage from Beyond Meat. Also, McDonald's starts in Canada with some testing, and also now Starbucks is one of the biggest retailer for coffee and other, bistro items, and therefore I believe this is huge for Beyond Meat, and even more bigger to put into value, because Ethan Brown, the CEO, said actually the guidance of $500 million in revenue for this year 2020 doesn't include this partnership to blow up. Sometimes our companies are very forward looking and say, if this works out then we expect this, but they are very conservative here with their guidance, which I love about companies. Rather give a lower guidance and way over deliver than other way around. And as I said, my research of a company doesn't stop just into some numbers, but also the product itself. So I couldn't resist and ordered directly the most bestseller of Beyond Meat, the burger patty. And it definitely looks already very close to real meat. I will try it the next days, and we'll let you next Monday how it tastes, what I think about the overall product. The packing is quite straightforward, nothing fancy that would impact the profit margins or so ever. So 20-gram protein sounds pretty good to me, and without any other bad things for me. I will try it. I will let you know what this patty will taste and how is the experience with this overall product. Definitely more on next Monday. And one of the big, contra statements against these companies like Beyond Meat is the competition. So it seems to be a big trend where also other companies like Tiger Food, like Nestle, like Impossible Foods, or now Cargill, one of the biggest private held meat imitating companies, are trying to catch this wagon and, try to be on this trend, obviously. But I see it on a different level as well. Obviously there's competition, but there's no big signs that competition are getting their shares of Beyond Meat, rather the market getting bigger and Beyond Meat getting more share of the market. And therefore I believe competition in this particular case is quite interesting, because more and more products, more and more marketing goes into the education of people. So, and then the consumers see, okay, what is the best product? And if Beyond Meat further invests so much money, more than any other company in the food business, on research and development, then, we are on a very good path into very interesting areas for this company in the future. And therefore, I believe I did the right thing to see if this stock is interesting for me, loading up in the next couple of days while we still are on discount, on sale. And who would not rather buy a company that is a great company that is on sale rather than a super overvalued price?